Hello and welcome to our world, our La Rosa world, that is. So I have the details on little Kenny's wake and viewing and everything like that. Um, it's Friday. Starts off at 10 a.m. And did we think it was going to be anywhere else than where it is? No, Battenberg's Main Street in German. It is 363 Washington Street, German, Pennsylvania. Um, the the service, which will start at 11 a.m. So the viewing will be from 10 until the service actually starts. With our family, you don't know when it actually starts, but they're saying it should start at 11 a.m. and it's being conducted by John C. Ruth. I don't know where the burial is. I believe it's where his mom is. I don't know where that is. I think that's in Archibald. So, yeah. I hope to see you, everybody out. I know there was some people, some local yokels like Khan, who wanted to know the details. Little Kenny, I'll say this truthfully. I've never, sorry if my face seems weird. My tooth is bothering me, so it's swollen and eyes not staying open and blah. Anyways, I've never hit any of my cousins. None of my cousins have ever hit me before, except for little Kenny. First time it happened with me and Kenny, I must have been 8, 9 years old. We were going up to Ellsworth. My mom sent me inside to get a hoagie or two. I grabbed the hoagies, came out. Kenny was harassing some kid and had him pinned up against the ice machine. And I stepped in between them and I was like, Kenny, you can't be bothering the customers. And I told the kid, go home, go home. Well, I think the kid ran inside and told them what was happening outside. But Kenny grabbed me by the throat, started punching me in the face. And after about the 6th one, I still remember that night in white shining armor, Stanley Snarkavich came out. He was the first one who grabbed Kenny, and then Eddie grabbed him from the other side. And there was a third person. I don't remember if it was Johnny or if it was Billy Wasley, but there was definitely a third person. I remember just calmly walking away like nothing just happened, got in the car, we went up to Ellsworth, and after swimming a little bit, my mom's like, where did you get that black eye from? And I told her the story of how I just got my ass handed to me by little Kenny. We've dealt back and forth because as I got older, I would never allow him to mishandle his mother. And there was one time, me and him, this was really truthfully the last time, because after that, he realized that I wasn't the little cousin that he remembers when I was younger. I was finally an adult. It must have been when I was 17, 18. If you're familiar with the store in the house above it, where Grandma and Grandpa had the sunroom, we in turn ended up having the computer room. Because I don't understand why Grandma and Grandpa had a TV and in that room and not one of the other rooms. Like, that always mind boggled me. But that was our computer room. And the steps that comes from the front of the store and the front of the building itself, the door wasn't sealed up into the store. It was just locked all the time. And you could literally hear the people talking at the counter. I was on the computer, probably messing around with AOL chat or some shit like that. And I hear Dad screaming, he's going for the knives, he's going for the knives. And I don't know what it was in me, but this instinct just clicked. And I ran to the back of the house where the kitchen is, took those steps downstairs into the store. And I caught Kenny right there by the old milk cooler, bear hugged him and got him pinned up against the milk cooler. And it was this weird realization he had in his eyes where, shit, he came out of nowhere. He got me. There's nothing I can do. Like, he tried to move. I felt him try to wiggle a little bit and I held him. I didn't hit him, but he knew if I wanted to, I could have took him down hard. I looked at him, I picked him up, and I carried him in a bear hug to the front of the store. And the whole time my dad's like, Jeremy, don't hit him, don't hit him, don't hit him, don't hit him. I didn't say anything. I sat him down in the chair next to his mom and held him. And Aunt Patricia didn't say anything to me. She was talking to Kenny, being like, Kenny, relax. It's over. And I let him go, and I stood back, and he looked at me, and he knew he wasn't able to get away with his shit anymore. But we had this odd, me and him had this odd cousin bond. I hate to say that this started when his mother passed away and he was put on medication in the housing unit that he was in. But when that started, I was able to have conversations with him. I worked at the GameStop in the mall, and he would go there with the group. They would take him, and, all the people from the house take him, let him walk around, do their little, get to be out there and feel what real life is like. And he would come and talk to me in the store, and, he was aware of what he did when he was not on the medicine. That's what was odd, because he was telling the girl, and he was apologizing to me that he beat me up when we were kids. And he's like, I remember holding you up on the soda machine. It was the ice machine, but he said soda machine, and punching you in the face. And they had to drag me off of you. And I was like, yeah, Kenny, I remember that. And I was like, you remember when I hit you a couple times? And he was like, yeah, I remember that too. I was like, but we love each other. We're family. And he's like, yeah, we love each other. And whenever he used to get a little energetic in the store and I can tell he was about to pop off, I would put some of my weird music on and get him to dance in the store. Like, that's one thing he liked doing. It was odd how in this town, if there was a parade, it didn't matter how young the kids were. Kenny was at the front of that parade with his baton, twirling it. Sometimes he had like not skirts, but like dresses on, like the women would do. I will say this, when I was at the GameStop and he would come in and talk to me, the one time he said he got married to a guy that lived at the house. The lady was like, they didn't get married. They did a mock trial marriage. And I looked at her and I was like, but does it mean something to him? And she's like, yes, very much it means something to Kenny. I was like, all right, cool. And so that was Kenny coming out to me. And I knew it since we were kids. Because when I lived in the greenhouse and we had the cell phone, not the cell phone, before cell phones, the payphone on the corner, he'd be like, Jeremy, listen, listen, listen. And I'd listen, and it was always guys on the sex line. It wasn't women. But I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, maybe it's just the guy's turn to talk while the girls, because it's a conversation between a guy and a girl being intimate. So I didn't think anything of it. But as I got older, I saw how he was around certain groups of my friends, not certain groups, but certain individual friends that I hung out with at the store. And things were a lot more clear. And I never cared. He was happy. That's all that mattered to me. But he did like dancing. He did like going to parades and marching in the front of the parade. It didn't matter how young the kids were. He was up there, lead, with his baton, marching. Didn't matter what parade it was, where it was. If Aunt Patricia would drive him, Aunt Patricia and Uncle Kenny would drive him. More than likely, Uncle Kenny was going to sell his candy apples and cotton candy, and Kenny was out and doing the parade. And, yeah. Kenny was a unique individual. That was the thing with the old man. Dad was an asshole. I don't want to say he wasn't. He definitely was an asshole. But with Aunt Patricia, his sister, and his sister's son, Dad, I remember him coming to me as a kid. Be like, Jeremy, You treat Kenny like you treat your brother and sister. You treat Judy the same way you treat Kenny. And I was like, Dad, really? I treat Judy like crap. Nah, I don't. I was like, I pick on Judy heavily. And Dad's like, don't pick on him. And that's not, you see what happens when those kids pick on him. I was like, yeah. He's like, but don't treat him any different. I was like, all right. And me and Kenny, we had a weird bond. And like I said, I don't know how many times I wanted to hit Joey, my brother, and just crunch him, but I never did. But me and Kenny, we went to blows a couple times. Oh, a couple times. Aunt Patricia, she never got mad at me either. Because I had heart to heart with her the one time. I was like, Aunt Patricia, I just can't handle Kenny hitting you. And she's like, I know, Jeremy, I know. And she would take and give him medicine to put him to bed. I don't know, but it wasn't his medicine. And I always wonder how Grandma and Grandpa felt about little Kenny. I truly do. Because I'm looking more into our family history and I'm learning a lot of who we are as a household. And this is one thing that I always wondered how they handled the special needs people in our family. Because Dad always, I'm sure Grandma, that's why Dad always made me treat Kenny with the utmost respect. So I don't know. We'll never know because those times to ask those questions are gone. But let's run through what's going on Friday. Friday, starting at 10 a.m., the viewing will be held at Battenberg's Funeral Home on Main Street in German, 363 Washington Street, German, PA 18433. That will be at 10 a.m. The viewing will be in the same building, Battenberg's. Not the viewing, but the service will be in the same building at 11 a.m. The viewing will be conducted until the service at 11 a.m. And I assume we're going to the place where we're going to have the burial. So that's all I fully know. There was a small write-up in our family ordeal, but I know people outside of our family and some people in our family who aren't in the chat, because I'm not in the chat. My little sister Brianna Snapchatted because she's in the chat, but I'm not. And she sent me what the write-up was. So I hope to see everybody on Friday, those who can be here. If not, at a certain time, we'll figure out on Friday. Let's all dance for little Kenny. Just, no matter where you are, dance for little Kenny on Friday at 1 o'clock. Yes. That seems like that should be good. We'll say 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. If it's 1 o'clock, we'll come back, but I think it'll be 2 o'clock. Have a little dance for Kenny. And everybody that knows him, just take that moment and dance. Enjoy, everybody. Have fun. Be safe. And much love. Enjoy.